Good day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mondays with MAGG, where we discuss all the gaming news that happened over the weekend, and boy, do we got some doozies for you today. Let's get right into it. First thing we need to talk about today are the Game Awards. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Game Awards week this Thursday, December 11th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and will run till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that's not the only news coming out of the Game Awards. Of course, the rumors are heating up about the Jeff Keighley Stone tease. That's right. And more developers and more studios are coming forward saying, no, it's not us. No, it's not us. So now people are starting to narrow it down. It is not God of War. It is not Diablo 4 DLC. It is not Half-Life 3. It is not Lords of the Fallen, and it is not Elder Scrolls 6. What could it possibly be? I'm hearing that it's going to be a Japanese IP. However, I have two thoughts here. The first one is not very realistic, but it's a possibility nonetheless. It's just a shot in the dark. I thought that, Sega had spoken about reviving old IP a couple of years ago. What if it just happened to be Altered Beast? I mean, that'd be kind of cool, right? However, I don't think that that's the case. I think that it's going to be an announcement for Elden Ring 2 that could be coming out as early as 2027. But we have to tune into the Game Awards this week, which I will be live streaming here on this very channel, including reactions, and we will get our answer then. In other news, Netflix has attempted to buy WB. That's right. I'm sure everybody's heard by now. However, as I had already said it this weekend, this is not a done deal, as Paramount was offering $30 a share as opposed to Netflix, who offered $28 a share. I think that we're going to see a much different situation moving forward this week. I had also predicted over the weekend that Paramount will try to attempt a hostile takeover, and lo and behold, here we are Monday morning, and Paramount is indeed attempting a hostile takeover of the company. This is why it's good, ladies and gentlemen, to have friends who are investors. You get all this information well ahead of time. How does this tie into video games? Well, a lot of people are asking about WB Games. What's going to happen to all those studios if they get acquired or got taken over by Paramount? I would imagine that the only studio that is 100% safe would be Portkey, and that is because they are deep in development in Hogwarts Legacy 2, riding off the immense success of Hogwarts Legacy 1, and on top of that, they plan, or at least attempt to release Hogwarts Legacy 2 in conjunction with Season 1 of HBO's Harry Potter. That being the case, I would think that they are completely safe considering the amount of money that they're going to make. However, when it comes to those other studios, the only one that may have a chance may be Rocksteady if they could plead their case and saying, hey, we're sorry about the Suicide Squad, but we do plan on making another Arkham game. We may make a Batman Beyond game. That may actually save them considering the success of the Arkham series thus far. And the last thing we got to talk about today are the Black Friday console sales. That was the big news over the weekend. A lot of videos. I did one myself talking about how price is incredibly important, especially for the casuals. And you'll see by these numbers right here that that was indeed the case. We have the PlayStation 5 in UK was 62% of all console sales. Switch 2 followed at 23%. That's almost a third. Xbox at 10%. That's 1/6. And the Switch 1 at 5%. And the only console that was on sale, that's right, the PS5. We could see that that actually is a driving factor. In the United States, 47% of all hardware sales was the PlayStation 5, followed by the Nintendo Switch 2 at 24%. And here's the surprising one. Next, Playground coming in at third, and they took 14% of the console sales. I will get into this next Playground in just a moment. However, we have to look at the fact that Xbox did not even make the top 3. I did hear that they barely even made the top 5, and they were closely followed by Meta Quest 3. So there you have it. Now, this next Playground situation, everybody's like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And apparently it came out 2 years ago. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I didn't even know about this thing until Saturday. And now I know about it. It's basically like a spiritual successor to the Xbox Kinect, and it has no controllers, and it's a very casual system, very cheaply priced at $250. The only reason why I don't think it got as much market share as any of the other consoles is because nobody knows this thing exists, or at least very few people know exists, but they certainly know now as the name is really starting to spread across social media. Now, on top of all of that, they have a subscription service very much like Game Pass, and so you buy this unit for about $250, and then you subscribe to their service to get all of their games. This is targeted for children and, of course, adults who want to play with their children, and that's basically where this thing stands. It's probably why it really didn't reach the zeitgeist or the mind share of what I would like to consider our gaming community, because we are obviously older gamers, and yes, a lot of us do have children, but my children didn't even know this thing existed either. And so I asked them, and I asked a few of their friends over the weekends. I said, have you guys ever heard of Next Playground? Every single one of them said no. So I have a feeling that moving forward, this thing is going to gain in popularity, as now it's starting to be talked about from everybody. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is your news roundup for this weekend on this edition of Mondays with Mag. Thank you for joining me today. And of course, I will be on XNC tonight. I will be on MAGGcast on Tuesday. I will be releasing videos throughout the week. And of course, join me this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I do a live reaction show. And of course, we will have a watch party for the Jeff Keighley 2025 Game Awards. I look forward to seeing you all there. We got a busy week and we got a lot of things to talk about. Have a great day. Stay magnificent. And thank you for tuning in for another edition of Mondays with Mag.